What's up, Junkies? Welcome back to Culture Junkies Live, the talk show about all the geek stuff that you love talking about. Your host, Kenshiro, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about in store today. As you saw from the title card, I went to go see My Hero Academia in the theaters last night, and I absolutely had a blast. I thought it was a lot of fun. But is anime really ready for the big time? So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to give you our thoughts on the Dark Phoenix trailer, some of our thoughts on the Titans trailer, on top of other things. But let me introduce who's going to be showing with me today, the recovering and returning Fallen Marvel. How you doing, sir?
Like the phoenix rising from the ashes, I have returned. Hello, everybody.
Welcome back, man. Glad you're feeling better. But not feeling quite as good is the great Adakuji. How you doing, dude?
I feel great. I just got a cough that consistently sounds like I'm trying to start a car from like the 1920s or some shit. But other than that, I think I'm good.
Okay. Super Nerd Plus is here. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And last but not least, Mr. GQ. What's up, brother?
Not much. Trying to shield my eyes from all these horrible decisions Hollywood has been making lately. When it comes
I know,
to
right?
films.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, man. Because one of the things that we're gonna talk about, and we're just gonna kind of riff on it real quick. We just discovered that Rosie Perez has been cast as Renee Montoya in the Birds of Prey film. Like, what? I'm not following. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know what the deal is. I absolutely do not know what the deal is.
I don't think they know either. Now, granted, like some have said, she might be playing an older, grizzled detective, but there's some younger old people you could have picked. So I'm just saying.
I totally agree with that. Totally agree. I don't understand. I just don't get it. For some reason the stream did not start on Facebook.
I get it already. Yeah. Like you just said. I'm sorry for the interruption, everybody, but the great Adakuji right here is going to say this. So what if she's old? What's wrong with it? You can't give people who are over 50 an acting job. You can't act. Like, once you hit a certain age, it's like, oh, go waste away in freaking old folks' home of actors. So what if she's old?
It depends, because have you ever seen Renee Montoya from the cartoon?
Exactly, but she was also a beat cop. So imagine that Renee Montoya that's been working on a job for about 20 years. There you go.
Yeah, but in later episodes, she was actually a detective, and she was still hot.
I mean, she's drawn that way, kind of like what's her name?
Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, Jessica Rabbit. She's just drawn that way. Come on now. It is what it is. My whole thing is not how old somebody is, it's how well they portray the character. Now, Rosie Perez has not been in anything that I'm aware of since White Man Can't Jump. And
girl from Rush Hour 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she actually would have been pretty good.
She would have
could have got tons of different actresses, whatever. I think they're trying to. Who knows? It's DC. So why are we first? Why are we freaking even talking? They make bad decisions after bad decisions. DC must mean bad decision in Latin or something like that. I don't know. It's DC movie. I have no freaking idea. It's just
oh man,
one after another.
Right.
That's probably the realest thing I've heard all week.
Yeah, like that's for real. Keeping it real, man. I don't know. There was something else we were gonna hit on real quick. Bad decisions. I can't. I'm drawing a blank. What was something else that we wanted to bring up and talk about real quick before we went on the air?
Well, one of the things we didn't get to talk about last week was the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, we will get to that. We will get to that in a minute. Actually, because we're gonna kind of try and go in order here. Actually, no. Let's we can go ahead and talk about Dark Phoenix. So one of the things that came up was we were gonna talk about the Dark Phoenix last week on the show, and the trailer dropped after we went off the air. I want to say what's up to Condon Hulk, our boy Anthony Mentor over there on on Twitch. LGZ is over there on Facebook. Facebook chat is live. Welcome to everybody else that's in the chat right now. But we didn't get to talk about Dark Phoenix. And then it dropped, and people were not impressed. And then they follow up with the news that Dark Phoenix is being pushed back a few months. And you hear about the reshoots for New Mutants. So I had to ask the question, are we really going to see these last 2 Fox films, or are we just not going to see them at all?
I hope not. Nobody cares.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I hope not.
Damn, that's almost like an absolute unanimous. I want to see them, but tell me you guys' reasons why. What turned you off about this trailer? Let's start with someone that isn't going to like absolutely shit can this topic. Fallen Marvel, what turned you off about this thing?
It just seems like they're retreading stuff that they've already revisited, and we've seen how they do with the X-Men stories. With the exception of a few, with the exception of a few storylines, I mean, they adapted Old Man Logan rather well. They adapted somewhat the whole Japanese saga Wolverine somewhat okay. But just overall, I mean, honestly, the only thing that really felt almost as authentic as it could be, even though it was so many different changes, was probably First Class. Now, probably their best movie overall would probably end up being Days of Future Past. You know, even as fondly as that movie is, like that movie did kind of have like a few issues here and there, like particularly how people use like how their powers worked. But you know, folks will just say we're nitpicking, but I mean, let's just face it, like Fox has never been consistent when it comes with their Marvel franchises, X-Men, definitely in particular. But it's just this trailer is just parts of it look good, parts of it looks you know, Beast still, you know, Hank McCoy, aka Beast, is still like part beast, part human, and just never completely blue like he's supposed to be. Jennifer Lawrence, once again, is not blue in every scene, so she's still using her human form for whatever reason, even though we know how Mystique is. Like, she is very well proud of who she is, supposedly. But I don't know. It just, again, it's just retreading the same thing that we've already seen. And I don't really have that much expectation going into it. I mean, I'm just gonna feel like we've seen this before. So
GQ, what turned you off?
A lot like what Farland Marvel was saying. It looks like I've already seen this movie. He called it X-Men Last Stand. So I mean, it's like unless you're really honestly going to do something drastically different, go to space and introduce the Shi'ar, it's not going to work. And even if you do try to do that, now you're trying to cram way too much story in there that you ain't gonna be able to tell in that 2 hours, 2:15 or whatever they're gonna use as a runtime for this thing. So I mean, it's they're grasping at straws. Disney's already owns the properties. You guys are just using, you know, the last little bit of bravado or whatever you want to call it, or, you know, chutzpah for trying to, you know, get your last little X-Men movie out before, you know, it goes back to the rightful owners. And I think this one's just gonna fall flat on its face, because like Super Nerd had mentioned in the pre-show, the costumes look straight up like Star Trek costumes, and it's like you guys showed the pretty close to comic book accurate costumes at the end of Days of Future Past, or whichever movie. No, I'm sorry, Apocalypse, and it's just like you just suddenly just gonna act like those don't exist no more. Like, we all saw them with our own eyes. Why aren't they wearing those costumes? So that already turned me off and made me mad. So who knows? We'll see.
All right, so now we know this, you know, somebody's going to come with straight fire, and I kind of want to bring up his perspective on why this movie is going to be bad, but also why the New Mutants might be getting pushed back. So, Super Nerd, talk a little bit about what you hated about this trailer, which I already anticipate is probably going to be everything. But why would they be pushing this movie back? And also, what's up with the whole New Mutants thing?
They pushing it back because we know who their new masters are, Disney, and they know what's coming out early in May. So they got no choice but do what Master says, and push that bullshit back. We had 10 years. Is it about 10 years since the first X-Men movie, or 15? 10 years?
It's about
17, 18.
17? Okay, we had 17
yeah,
years
it's about
of
17,
bullshit. Yeah. 17 years of bullshit, and they just keep continuously putting out more bullshit. So we have no more faith in what they're doing right now. So why should we care about something that's been garbage for the past 17 years? Now, New Mutants, they try to go to another direction with it, trying to be edgy with horror, trying to make it rated R, or it's going to be PG-13. I'm not sure.
It was still supposed to be PG-13.
Yeah, it's going to be PG-13.
Going
yeah.
horror out with it.
But even so, that was just one of those projects that's like, you know what? Let's just try to make something, but it's not going to work. So everything's getting pushed back because we know what's coming out next year. We got Avengers, we got Captain Marvel. So why should we be excited about something that's X3 all over again with terrible costumes? And you had Deadpool as your launching point to do something correct under the same umbrella, and you still messing up. I don't know what they're doing. They might as well let it go. I mean, it's going already, but just stop trying to like make us stop trying to force it down us to make us like it.
Super nerd, like you know what they're doing.
Of course.
Go ahead, Dado. Give your 2 cents.
Oh, my 2 cents is the trailer was boring as shit, and I'm the type of person that, because I don't read the comic books as hardcore as all the rest of them, I look at the movies and try to enjoy them that way. The newer movies, when I say the newer ones, the ones after Days of Future Past and forward, including the Wolverine, I think it was called, one he was in Japan, and of course Logan, which was the best X-Men movie, if you want to call it an X-Men movie, out of all the Fox X-Men movies, was Logan. I think they're trying to fit and do it for everybody. Now, the trailer did look kind of boring. Maybe there's something that we just don't know, and hopefully Disney has some kind of hand in it, and maybe that's why it's being pushed back. Maybe that's why there was 3 months of reshoots after 3 months of shooting the movie. Hopefully they're using it as a stepping stone to reset the universe. I doubt it, seriously, because I'd assume that even though these actors are established as these characters now, that they would pick their own, because Disney could have easily just took Andrew Garfield, is his name, as Spider-Man, and threw him into their universe, but they didn't, which I am glad they didn't, because Tom, whatever the heck his name is such a better...
Tom Holland.
Excuse me, Tom Holland. You're never going to watch this, but I do appreciate you being the new Spider-Man, because you're a lot better as Spider-Man than last few. So I think that's what they're, hopefully, that's a geek nerd hope that Disney is doing this. Disney's taking control, because we already know Fox and Sony, both of them I know what I'm doing. I make movies. And then they just throw something out there. Logan's stuck. They throw something, see if it's going to stick. And Logan did stick. And some other ones made a lot of money, but they weren't respecting the source material. And I think that's the main issue a lot of nerds want. They just want to respect the source material. And as a trailer, it just doesn't look like they're respecting the source material.
I mean, I still don't like the fact that they're making her like another personality or whatever again. Like, it's like they kind of make it seem like they're trying to not make her this personality, but just like this dark part of Jean that she just never tapped into. But it's like, again, you're still kind of basing it with the same thing that it's always been a part of her, and it had to be locked away. Like, once again, we've already retreaded this. Now they're just starting I'm assuming age-wise, what they're like it's not, all this is happening 20 years earlier or whatever.
This is supposed to be in the 90s now, so
I mean, okay, so maybe a decade earlier, maybe 10 or 15 years early, maybe. Okay, but but once again, it's like, I mean, if we're in the 90s at this point, I don't know what part of the 90s. I mean, shouldn't they have at least attempted to try to make like Charles and Magneto look a little older? I mean,
I'm kind of glad you said that, because somebody actually brought this up, right? So if we're going by the absolutely screwed up X-Men timeline. Like, this thing makes absolutely no sense, right? So the original timeline that we had, in supposedly 19, what was it? The first X-Men movie came out in 1998, 1999. Can't remember.
It was 2000.
2000. So we're trying to say in 2000. So this movie takes place in the 90s. So some people were saying, okay, so we're supposed to believe in somewhere less than 10 years, Fassbender is supposed to look like Ian McKellen and McAvoy is supposed to look like Patrick Stewart. Like in 8 years, somehow Fassbender is going to age like 30-something years, 30-something, 40 years in that time frame. Like, okay, that makes zero sense. Jean looks way too mature for the way she looks now. It just, all of it, just the whole timeline just doesn't make sense whatsoever. And, you know, a lot of you guys in the chat are talking about it, saying, you know, they've screwed this up. We have no trust in Fox. You know, they didn't earn this thing. You know, they've screwed up Jean. You know, and all this vitriol, this hate for Jean, I've always liked Jean. You know, some people just kind of hate her
because of the movies, dude.
It's not just because of the movies. I think it's the cartoons too.
The cartoon,
yeah.
Man. I've hated Jean from the cartoon. It's too heavy.
I can't do it.
Right, passing out. Every time she uses power, she'd pass out.
Like, bro, like,
yes.
it was like useless for the longest until she became the Phoenix, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that was when she became like even remotely relevant. Is when she became the Phoenix.
No, right. I hate about that. You know what I hate about that in that cartoon a little bit? I mean, I loved it, but I hate it when Jean get a psychic impression of the future and she can't tell nobody about the shit. Like, she knew Cable was her son, but she couldn't say the shit. Like, just fucking
right.
Here's the crazy part. She wasn't shocked.
Important to our future.
Right, but she wasn't shocked that we have a kid. That was the crazy part. Like, she wasn't shocked. Like, oh my god, I have a fucking son.
You want to hear something? You want to hear something crazy real quick? I was looking on IMDb because, you know, sometimes IMDb kind of gives stuff away. I heard you guys mention something about the Shi'ar, and because of the cartoon, I know the Shi'ar is in space. And I guess there was a part in the trailer that I missed where they were on a space shuttle. There is quite a few actors that have astronaut, NASA, and blah, blah, blah on there. But there's 3 actors that have blank, no names at all next to them. I've never seen that at all on IMDb. I wonder if they're trying to hide that on purpose. Like, if one of them, not saying it is, not trying to put stuff out there like it is, but what if one of these people, what if they did meet the Shi'ar? Because you got literally somebody named Afra Williams, blank, Daniel Cudmore, blank, and Lamar Johnson, blank.
Shit, Daniel Cudmore was Colossus at one point.
Hey, don't ask me. I don't know. It's blank. Maybe he's gonna be Colossus again, but who is Afra Williams? I don't know who the heck that is, first off, but it's blank next to her name. So what
is she black or is she ethnic?
No, she's a white woman. She's born in Australia. So she I
was about to say the people that are blank that are ethnic, the parts are on the cutting room floor. So I'm just saying they probably, you know,
maybe they put them on the cutting room floor. Who knows? I don't know, but maybe I'm not trying to give people hope out there. I just kind of sometimes want to be a little bit optimistic.
I'm not trying to give people hope. Wow,
that's like the opposite of what most people do. Like, hey, look, I ain't trying to give none of y'all hope out there.
No, I'm not. I mean, seriously, I just want the Fox reign on X-Men, and I want Disney to pick it up. I want to see what they can do with it, and because so far the Marvel studios have not let me down as a movie that I watch that's enjoyable to watch.
Right.
So hopefully they will respect the source material, put out a good action, you know, flick that's comic book based, that it respects the source material, and then I'd be happy. That's I want that, and I'm pretty sure you guys want it too.
So. Yeah, we do. So all right, so you know, moving right along to, you know, speaking of respecting source material, one movie that definitely did not or does not respect the source material is Venom, and Venom is absolutely getting dragged out there in the social media atmosphere. Just saying, comparing it to that incredibly terrible Catwoman movie, to being also compared to Fan Stick. Like, okay, and then there's the news report about Lady Gaga fans possibly trying to sabotage the box office take for Venom because A Star Is Born also comes out this Friday. Is this even fair? Is this even right? Like,
Hey,
is there something to be concerned? Well, go ahead, GQ. What were you gonna say?
All's fair in love and box office war. It don't matter. I look at it this way. I don't care. I really don't. Neither one of these movies is all that appealing. I'm going to see Venom just because I like the character. I don't really. I mean, I already understand A Star Is Born. Bradley Cooper. It's Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
Mm-hmm.
As what?
It's a musical drama.
Yeah, musical drama deal.
It's gotten rather good.
Bradley Cooper's my dude, but I don't care.
Lady Gaga. Fuck, we don't like it. Fuck
Yo, Johnny Patton just said, right?
Damn, man.
Hold up, Johnny Patton just said in the chat, IGN gave Venom 4 out of 10. Not enough tongue.
Damn.
Wow.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Like I said, we're gonna probably go see it either way. I mean, I think we got tickets for this Friday. Hopefully, I can make it. I can make sure.
Yeah.
So we want to 10 something.
10 something. Yeah. So Charles Walker is over there on YouTube. Thank you for joining again, Charles. He said he read the reviews for Venom, and it definitely didn't need the Gaga fans to trash it. So the critics seem to be doing a good enough job on its own. Like, I don't know. For me, like when I read the reports, the reviews on Venom were saying that even though the movie overall is not what we expect, some people really enjoyed it, but what they mostly enjoyed was Tom Hardy and the Venom dynamic, which we kind of could see from the trailers that they probably nailed that part. It was everything else that was the problem, which begs the question. And I'm not going to ask Super Nerd this because I already know what he's going to say. But Fallen Marvel, should they have even bothered trying to make this? Should they have even bothered trying to make this movie, man?
Look, first of all, they lost me when they started pronouncing it symbiote. Number one, okay. Number two, I mean, look, Venom is an iconic character. Many of us that at least, even if we don't read the comic books, we've at least watched the animated series or at least some variation of it. We know who and what Venom is as a character. But what stems Venom as the iconic character we know stems from his interaction with Spider-Man, and that's a dynamic that they took out completely. So it's kind of hard to figure out, okay, how are we going to get how are we going to get the Venom we know if there's no interaction with Peter Parker? Or at least the the vengefulness and the animosity Eddie Brock he had towards Spider-Man or Peter Parker and all of that. And it's like, okay, you're adding like all this extra stuff around a character that, yeah, a character this is a character that can make a movie on his own. But it's kind of hard to like to give that character what we all know and love about him without what essentially had that ball rolling, which was this interaction with Peter. So with them trying to create that without that dynamic and all the other stuff that they're probably going to have to throw in because they're already still loaning Spider-Man out to Disney right now. And it's just, honestly, I don't understand why they decided to do this. I mean, at this point, I felt like, what was it? The interview with Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal when she was talking about Venom, looking at her like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, like that whole thing about like we had to like confirm later that like, no, this ain't a part of what we're doing. Like and for good reason. So yeah, like no.
All right, Super Nerd, go ahead.
I want to know one thing. I just want to know one thing. Who is he gonna be angry about? Like who? Like, how is Eddie Brock gonna be mad? Like, he doesn't seem like he seemed like a happy guy in the whole trailer.
Oh, like, that's easy. Give him a love interest. He's
mad because he got to pay his bills. That could be a thing. He's angry because he got to pay bills and his life sucks. Like, that's the only thing you can do because he can't be mad at Peter Parker because there is no Peter Parker. So there's nobody to really be mad about. He's a happy guy. He seems like he's a happy guy. Now, granted, I love Tom Hardy. He's a good guy, but
he's the cell.
He's the cell. But Sony, you fucked this up.
No, I figured it out.
What is it?
It's the prequel to the animated Spider-Verse, and it's just Venom in another universe, and then they're gonna squish it in with the animated one, and then that.
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, man. I think you lost. I think you lost steam.
I even lost myself.
Right, dude. Yeah, that don't make no sense, man.
How the hell they gonna make a Venom movie and everybody knows the origin of Venom, even before Venom was Venom, before Venom had a name, before it was that symbiote or whatever the fuck they call it. That
symbiote. Yeah, whatever.
Symbiote. With Peter Parker and the Black Spider-Man suit and all that other good stuff. So
the whole reason the suit even acts that way is because of the bond with Peter. So I mean, that's what's so. It's just. It's like, dude. It's like
not respecting the source
right at all. It's just, and the worst part is, it's another one of those you showing too damn much in the trailer. I already showed who his arch nemesis is going to be. I already showed him in his final form. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I already knew the movie was going to be formula, but damn, you didn't have to show me that in the trailer. I'm like,
right. Right. Give me a reason to go. Save something for the actual movie. So we say all that's to say we're still going to be going, but man, I already know somebody that's going to be really disappointed if this thing doesn't make any money. But I'm so much looking forward to being proven right yet again about Venom and about other things. I don't know. Sony maybe will learn a lesson. But so the next thing I wanted to talk about briefly is I went to go see My Hero Academia in the theaters yesterday, and the movie has been out for about a week and a half. And it's actually performing very, very well. And when I was at the screening last night, obviously only the people that are like really enthused about the product are going to be coming. I saw a couple of parents bring their kids, because they probably watch it on Toonami on Saturday nights, and they really like the show. But the vibe in there made me. It was like really positive. There's a lot of hoops. There's a lot of hollers. There was a lot of excited. There's a lot of really positive energy. And, being in there and watching the movie with my two young kids who also really enjoyed the movie, it had me thinking, are anime features, destined for the big time? Because I looked at the figures that My Hero Academia came out with, right? It's been out for a week and a half. Would you know that even though it's only been in 500 theaters, right, it's already made $5.1 million, right? So now, to illustrate a further point, right, the highest grossing Dragon Ball movie was The Resurrection of Frieza. And that was like one of the first ones that they put in the theater along with Battle of the Gods. Resurrection of Frieza came out in 913 theaters and only did $8 million. Now, My Hero Academia did this in 500 theaters, $5.1 million. I think the brand is strong, and I think it shows that anime as a medium might have some sustainability if they have more features coming out over here. This is something that Dido actually brought up the other day, is that, or not the other day, a few months back, saying that I think, anime could deserve a little more widespread, and I was a little bullish on it, but I kind of starting to change my mind. So if My Hero Academia does this well, and I'm sure it's because it's a very popular brand and it's very likable, what other products could come out very, very good and perform very well to garner a more wider release? Obviously, we know Dragon Ball Broly is getting ready to come out. Are there any other movies that we think could actually be worthy of a wider release? Dido, what do you think?
Well, it's kind of tough to say because I don't know, the biggest anime that's on TV right now. When I say TV, I literally have to say that because there's a lot of people out there that still watch their anime on Toonami. So, Crunchyroll is something I wish was around when we were teenagers, because good guys trying to track down fan subs where it was not easy. But regardless of that, what is extremely big and popular besides My Hero Academia and Dragon Ball among the masses? That's what you have to look at. And it's still not. I think that there are certain ones most definitely would have at their time probably would have done real well. Dragon Ball, I think the new Dragon Ball movie is big enough to get a wider release, similar to what we talked about in the pre-show, because Pokemon, I think, is the first, and if not maybe the only anime series that got wide release, releases in the US for everybody, because that was
Pokemon was the first. The first Pokemon movie did $85 million, $85.7 million, and that was shown in 3,000 theaters. That was like absolute statewide. That was a wide release. Comparatively, 6 times less. My Hero Academia showed in 6 times less theaters. Or is that 60? No, 6 times less theaters than Pokemon the first movie was. But comparatively, I think My Hero Academia has performed very, very well. And I think if it was shown a little bit wider, I think it could have raked in even more money. So that's why I wanted to pose the question. Fallen Marvel, what's your 2 cents on this?
I mean, I do think that there is potential for, films like this to really be released at that scale and really bring in the numbers. Just like you said, like, beginning with Pokemon, even though Pokemon still was kind of like that was like a national phenomenon when that first came out. So that actually really wasn't that surprising that they gave it that much. But, of course, we had like that one little stint where anime wasn't really, doing
very well.
It was kind of waning after a while, or whatever. But it doesn't mean that it's still not possible for something for, like, especially now, because I think like anime is probably be a little more revitalized now than it's ever been, like, since those days. So because anytime I think about like as far as like an anime based movie or something based off a Japanese property made into a film and released in theaters, the example I always go back to was when they did Final Fantasy Spirits Within. Now,
what a disappointment!
The movie wasn't that great.
Oh, what a disappointment that was.
But just imagine if they did Advent Children when they released Spirits Within. Yeah. That would have been a different story.
Yeah, that's not because Final Fantasy VII, despite what people may want to say, they might have their favorite Final Fantasies, and everybody does. Final Fantasy VII is the most popular Final Fantasy series game in the series, period. And you're 100% right. If Advent Children came out using the Final Fantasy VII characters at that time, it blew the doors off. People would have went to go see it because it is the most popular Final Fantasy. I mean, out of all the Final Fantasy games, which one's getting a friggin' remake after 20 some odd years?
It's very true.
Final Fantasy VII, not 6, not 5, not 1, not 2, not 3.
Allegedly.
I mean, yeah. Right. At this point, it's vaporware right now. We don't know when that thing is coming out.
It's coming out on PlayStation 5. That's what's coming out.
Right. So, okay. So, My Hero Academia, yes, is very popular. And, Dragon Ball obviously is another brand that could probably carry it over. Some people were saying, well, could One Punch Man do it? I don't know. I don't think One Punch Man has permeated the populace enough. But to Dido's point, to Fallen Marvel's point, I think because anime is more sustained now because the generation that were kids when Pokemon came up, they grew up. They're having kids now. Like that generation of kids that were big, like watching the Pokemon anime as kids themselves, their kids are now being exposed to anime, so they're bringing their kids. So generationally, anime has had a chance to really grow and get ingrained and can grow up from the ground roots. Now I think there's something for studios. I mean, not studios, but AMC is showing, like AMC and the Imagine. I don't know where it is in other parts of the country, but they're showing a Ghibli film festival. Like, when did we ever think that was ever going to happen? Where Studio Ghibli was going to have a film festival in the major movie theaters, like showing all of their films on successive days. We didn't think that was
I haven't seen the film festival, but I went to see Studio Ghibli stuff in the theater. We went to go, even though I won't say I'm embarrassed to say this, but Ponyo, we went to the was it Imagine? I think it was Imagine. Now Imagine is Midwest. It's not just Michigan. I think they have some Imagine in Indiana, Illinois. I'm not 100% sure where, but they had Ponyo, and I remember, even though it was the local art theater, the first time I saw Studio Ghibli, but Ponyo, I would say, was something that was not Phantom events or whatever. that were doing something like that?
Fathom events. Fathom
events. Whatever.
Fathom.
Yeah.
Like, fathom. Yes, Fathom events. Yeah. You know, Ponyo did really good because Ponyo did 15 million only showing in 927 theaters. Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
Damn.
Yeah, so I'm still at the point where I think anime will do it, but you still got too many normies. And I think I discussed it. I don't know if it was on air or pre-show, that there are people out there that when you find something that's animated, they don't even want to look at it. I don't care how good the story is. Animated means for kids. Animated equals for kids. That's why when they see blood in there, oh my God, you can't believe they put the blood in here. Gosh, I'm glad my dad wasn't like that. I wouldn't be able to watch. I watched Crying Freeman when I was a preteen, and that was just like. Anyway, those people out there not ever going to care. So it's the thing that you have to target whatever is the biggest. And My Hero Academia is very popular. That's why it's doing well. Dragon Ball needs to get at least the new one, because it's, I think, bigger now than it's always been. The reason why we got Dragon Ball Super, and I don't want to sound like it's an elitist thing because I live in this country, but I really do think it's because of America that they brought more Dragon Ball. That's why they
no question. No question.
America, I mean, Dragon Ball was old over there. By the time we started seeing over here, it was done.
Yeah,
in Japan.
Dragon Ball had been done for like 10 years. It had been done for 10 years.
And they brought it back. It was like, holy crap, this is a big market. We need more. We got to put out video games. They start putting out games. They start putting all this stuff. Japanese had fucking Dragon Ball when it was in its heyday. So I do think that Dragon Ball Super should get that proper release.
Oh, yeah, like, especially because it's Broly. You know, because it's Broly, I think this movie that's getting ready to come out is going to do really, really well.
It's one of the first Dragon Ball Z movies that we saw back in the 90s, because that one fan sub tape was floating around in this area was movie 7 and 8. Pretty sure it was made copies of thousands of times. Pretty sure the version you saw was the same one I saw that somebody else copied. So
third generation fan sub. Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah, third generation. Yeah. So basically, like, if you think about it, right? What would be? I mean, like, what if a movie like we're talking just features, right? We're not talking like the hour-long, extra long episode of like Dragon Ball. We're talking like feature films, because My Hero Academia was like an hour and a half long, maybe an hour and a half, 40 minutes. So it was a feature-length film. What if like a movie like Ninja Scroll came out in the theaters? Like, imagine that. Imagine Ninja Scroll in the theaters, right? Imagine Akira in the theaters. Imagine Vampire Hunter D, in the theaters.
Ninja Scroll would get boycotted.
If they do it like they did the anime, oh hell yeah! If they do it like they get
no, I'm not talking. I'm talking the actual anime itself. Like, put that in theaters.
Boycotted.
Well, again, remember, animation equals kids. If they see a snake sliding out of the woman's nether region, the rock.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
He basically was starting to rape that woman.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Those are the not starting to. He did.
Yeah,
right. And the Shogun was banging that one girl. So
yes, he was. Yeah. He
would never be shown in theaters over here.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I would say that's not rated.
Yeah, the average movie going wouldn't
that would have to be a special engagement. That would get an NC-17
right out the gate. Right out the gate. I go see it though.
No.
I still go see it.
But that's the Death Note. Most theaters will not carry NC-17 stuff.
I know.
No, not at all.
I know.
It would die at the box office.
I know it would. So
but it would make people fall asleep. As much as I enjoyed the movie,
yeah, it would. As beautifully animated as that was, yeah, it would. It would put you to sleep. It would put you. It put me to sleep.
Tony Young, the original.
The original Vampire Hunter D. The original Vampire Hunter D. Go ahead, GQ. Finish your thought, and then we'll move on.
The thing. Anime can work in theaters, but what they got to do is they got to stay away from the magical girl stuff, unless they're just really going to do some type of, big thing where they try to get all the women to go see it or something. And then they got to stick with what works: action. Action is basically the only thing that anime, in my opinion, for a mass audience, mass appeal, is really going to be able to bank on. Because you can go in it for story, like, for example, Graveyard of the Fireflies has a great story, but how many of us?
Oh my goodness, that thing!
No way. Watched it.
I have yet to.
Nobody. The thing is, nobody.
You can't do it.
mass audience is not going to sit through a movie like that. It's just boring. And the thing is, like, for me, the Miyazaki films, it's like, yeah, those always show up as Fathom events. I've never had interest in those.
Even Princess Mononoke, that was probably one of the most action-oriented.
I saw that. We all saw that one.
Yeah, I remember we go see that one.
I still didn't like it because the thing is Miyazaki is an acquired taste, and my taste buds don't like that. I'm just straight up. Ninja Scroll is my type of thing. Fist of the North Star is my type of thing. Dragon Ball. I have yet to see any My Hero Academia. I heard all you guys have said is good, so I'll check it out.
You're not gonna like it.
You're not gonna like
Naruto.
You're not.
You don't like Naruto, and it's very.
It's a shonen. It's a shonen show. You're not gonna like it.
There you go. Yep,
yeah, you're not gonna like it.
I fucking like it because it's freaking good as shit, and some of those villains in there, especially Stain. I think you probably like that. That motherfucker was chopping people up.
The thing with My Hero Academia is it doesn't necessarily follow a lot of the shonen tropes. It does follow some of them, but it doesn't follow a lot of them. I think it doesn't necessarily reinvent the wheel, but I don't think it marries itself to it. So last thing before we move on, Charles Walker wanted to ask a question of us. What do we prefer when we're watching anime, subs or dubs? I'm a subs guy. I will watch the occasional dub, though. I'll watch some Gundam dubbed. I'll watch them subbed, but typically I like mine subbed. Dido, what do you like? Subbed?
I'm a subbed, but it's the stuff that I find nostalgia for straight.
Yes,
straight dub.
I agree. Follow Marvel?
Because back in the day, hold on, just real quick. Back in the day, subs cost more for whatever stupid reason. Subs cost more, so you were buying the dubs, and besides Cowboy Bebop, which is the best dub, period. There's just the nostalgic ones.
I agree. Like I can't watch Ranma subbed. I can't do it. I've tried. I can't do it.
I'm the same here. Gotta watch Ranma dubbed.
Yeah, I can't do it. I've tried. I can't do it. Follow Marvel. What about you?
It depends. It really depends. Like, I mean, my first introduction to anime was dubbed, and it was like the Fatal Fury OVAs, and those weren't exactly the greatest voiceovers back then, but like it worked. It worked for what it was at the time. But I think that when it comes to certain shows like My Hero Academia, I think I will much rather watch it sub than dub. Like I didn't really like the dubbed version of that too much. Now, when it came to Naruto, that's better subbed. Like English voiceover for that was not very good, in my opinion. It got better when they did Shippuden, but like when it first came on, no.
Yeah, Naruto's voice actor was the woman who played Naruto was rough. It was hard. Good to me. It was rough. It was hard to do. Believe it. It was hard to get through. It was hard to get through. All right, so moving right along. So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the trailer came out yesterday. The trailer 2, very well received. Very, very well received, to say the least. I loved all of the Sam Raimi movie nods that it had in there. A lot of those callbacks were pretty cool. But the question must be asked, and one of my friends on Facebook asked the question, or basically made this proclamation saying that this will be the highest grossing Spider-Man film to ever come out. Like he's calling for it to make $1 billion. I'm not ready to be on that ledge, but what do you guys think?
I don't think it's going to be $1 billion, but I think it's going to definitely raise some questions, or not questions, but ideas like, hey, we can do more animated stuff in the theater when it comes to Marvel. And it could be the tip of the iceberg because if you're already getting good reviews already, so what's the next step of doing something, another Marvel character that's non-Spider-Man to bring in the crowd that can be fun at the same time, So that's pretty much what I think.
I hope that it doesn't do okay. So a long time ago, for some of you people who might remember the Batman animated series, and it was very popular. And it was popular to the point where DC says, you know what, this is so popular, let's put our animated movie in the theater, and it tanked. And that's why all of DC's movies, animated movies, went straight to video after that, is because they just could not, do the loss. And though this movie looks good, and though Marvel's extremely popular, again, I go back to those people that as soon as something's animated, like for today, I was talking to one of my coworkers' husband about movies or whatever, Ant-Man, Wasp, whatnot. And I mentioned, I was like, did you see the trailer for the new Spider-Man movie? I was like, it looks like it'll be good. And the look on his face, like, and I was just like, what do you mean? I was like, it's really? Spider-Man is by Marvel. Yeah, he did like that. And I truly think there's a lot of people out there, even people who like comic book stuff. They may not be that deep. Like, I don't know how deep he is in nerddom at all, but he's familiar with it. He plays video games quite a bit with his sons. The look on his face is just like, and I was just like, oh, really? I'm just like, I want to go see it because it looks interesting. It's Marvel. I like seeing these things on the big screen. I think it's good, but he was kind of like that. And I have a feeling that if he is that type that enjoys stuff like that, but not to, like, he probably watch it if it came on Netflix, but he's not going to go to the movies to go see it. And I think there's a lot of people like that because if history tells us anything, that people don't, and they do, go see things that aren't specifically animated for kids in the theater. Just think about it. Out of the past, and Batman, the animated series, The Mask of the Phantasm was one of them, that, you know, despite its popularity on TV, not a lot of people went to go see it, and it bombed in the theaters. Anything that's animated that comes out of Disney, people go see because they think animation equals kids, and the kids go see it, and they eat that stuff up. But there's very few movies that pick up that are not specifically targeted. Now, so far, I don't know who they've been marketing this to, because it doesn't look like they're marketing it towards kids. I think they're marketing it to everybody. Exactly. That's what it looks like they're marketing it to. And that's why I think it's not going to do as well as I'd like it to, just because of that.
I mean, think about it. I mean, if they keep that same animation style, they can do wonders with it. You know, it don't have to be 2D. It could be the way they got it, which is a good animation style. Hell, it might be a Fantastic Four cartoon or animated movie to come out. That can be, something fun. I mean, shit. Who knows? I think the possibilities are endless to do whatever you want right now, because this is going to be the main big thing coming out right now. And that could be like a little subgenre. They can keep putting out movies like that. If this goes good, which I'm thinking is already going to go good, you might see another Into the Spider-Verse come out right after that. And I think another one's going to come out after that. Or they probably already got plans for it already. So you never know.
That's true.
I mean, I'm kind of looking at it this way, because I think that with the animation style they went with, I think at first I was kind of a little bit taken aback by it, but even though it still looked crisp in some scenes and fluent in another, but I really think that they are kind of sort of taking a page from what the Lego movies did a little bit and trying to appeal to that a little, but also bringing in the Spider-Man fan base, which we know is very far and wide. So
and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's not at all. And the thing is, because of that, and with them doing this story with the multiple Spider-Man and women from different universes and whatever the case may be, I mean, it could do some impressive numbers. It possibly could do some impressive numbers. So, I mean, like I said, it has some competition during Christmas time because Aquaman will be out too. So, I mean, I don't know. We just have to see. But I mean, if one thing that has been shown, that regardless how good or bad a Spider-Man film is, it still makes money.
I guess so. Here's the thing. Will this thing make $1 billion? Probably not. I mean, it's Christmas time. It's probably going to have a lot of competition. I'm not saying that it's not worth a lot of repeat viewing, but I just don't think it's going to be MCU level repeat viewing, and that's what it's going to take in order for it to get to $1 billion. I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong. And this film absolutely looks like it's going to have a lot of charm in it. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this film. I think it's going to perform very, very well, especially for an animated film. But to be like on the level of a Frozen, to be on the level of you know, like that type of a Disney type movie.
Wait, hold on.
I don't see that.
Who said this was going to make $1 billion?
Just a friend of mine thought, you know, if this was going to be the highest grossing, possibly $1 billion grossing animated film. I don't see that. I just don't.
Okay, hold on. Has that even ever happened before?
Yeah.
Outside of Disney?
Yeah, outside of Disney, no. But has it ever happened before? Absolutely. Absolutely it has. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
Please, if that does happen, Sony wouldn't even know what to do with themselves.
Exactly. Let's be real. There's only one studio that can release animation that hits $1 billion, and they own Marvel. So that's not happening, dude. I'm sorry. That's super wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Like to the point of like that's unicorn level like stuff, man. There is no way in the world. I don't care how popular Spider-Man gets. An animated Spider-Man is not going to make $1 billion before a live action Spider-Man does. It's not going to happen.
Oh yeah. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. I really don't. So I mean, Big Hero 6 did Disney. I don't think Big Hero 6 is. I mean, it's relevant because it's a Marvel film and it was done by Disney and it was done by Pixar, but that still didn't even break or even come close to breaking $1 billion. $1 billion. I don't see Into the Spider-Verse doing that. I just don't. I don't think it's going to end up doing it.
Yeah, man, Big Hero 6 was kind of weird when it first came out because it showed a lot of promise when they were showing the trailers for it, but then it was like after it came out and like no one was really talking about it, and I'm like, what happened? You know? So I don't know. Like that just kind of had like a weird thing about it when it first came out. I'm not sure what it was. I really don't. But I mean, it was still really good. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was just bad placing or something. I don't know what it was.
Well, again, the trailers were cute. This is like Zootopia. Now, Zootopia did insane numbers, which is hilarious. But Zootopia caught adults' attention with that first trailer, that DMV trailer. That's what got people into the theaters. It was like, oh my God, we've all experienced that. And the kids just thought it was funny because they didn't, understand what was going on. But all of us as grown-ups who've ever been to the Secretary of State or the DMV, for you that don't live in Michigan, we all know what that's like. It's like we know exactly what that's like. That whole thing.
Oh yes, the nightmare of going to the DMV. Absolutely.
Right. So that's why that movie I think did such numbers because it was relatable. The first trailer you saw was relatable to adults and kids in its own form. So that drew people in. Spider-Verse, I don't know, man, because it's like your lead is black. That's the first hurdle they're gonna have to deal with. And I don't care what you say, it's animated or whatever. That's the first hurdle you got to deal with. Period. And once they get over that hurdle, then you're gonna have to figure out, okay, is the movie actually good? That's the other thing. So it's $1 billion is a pipe dream for that. I'm sorry.
I mean, we could be wrong. I'd be pleasantly surprised if we were wrong. But
I'd be pleasantly surprised if I'm ever wrong about anything movie related.
Oh, this guy. I mean, that was perfectly set up for him to say that. Of course. But anyway, moving right along. Hey, so we will see whether Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse will break $1 billion. I don't think it will, but it's worth looking into. So we're gonna actually, before we get ready to get out of here, one thing that actually dropped today ahead of New York City Comic-Con was the trailer for the Harley Quinn animated series that's going to be on the DC Universe streaming app. So I want to go ahead and show that to you guys, and we'll watch it live and we'll kind of give you our reactions to it. So here it is. For some reason it's not showing up, so hold on a second. I'll show it again in a minute. But anyway, did you guys happen to watch that? Now, was the Harley Quinn animated series, was that something you guys were actually looking forward to
No.
Nope.
Really? Why not?
I'm not saying I'm gonna hate it. I'm not trying to be like Poison Ivy and say I'm gonna hate it because they hate everything. What she says is not far off because these motherfuckers out here hate almost everything. But I'd rather have seen the more Batman.
More Batman? Really? Come on, man. Really?
Harley Quinn could have been in there all day long. Yep. They could have brought back Batman animated series, the style, because it kind of looks like that. And I thought I heard Kevin Conroy as Batman. It sounded like him to me. Yeah. So I personally don't really want to watch a show about Harley Quinn because it seems like they're just doing it just to do it. Okay. Harley Quinn was the standout character in Suicide Squad. Oh my gosh, all the normies start dressing up like her for freaking Halloween.
All the normies. Man, that is such a disrespectful name.
No, that's his new shirt. That's about to be his new shirt.
All right, normies, dog.
These people did not read comic books, and if they did, they gave up on it when they got into high school because fuck comic books. Dude, okay, whatever.
You didn't read comic books.
No, I did. I just didn't read them like that. I was still in the freaking pool, bro. Just because I'm not swimming in the deep end doesn't mean I wasn't wading in the water, bro.
Nice analogy.
In the water.
Wow.
I was in the water, bro.
Okay.
Regardless.
Okay.
We call them fucking normies because that's what they are. You know, they don't even know it's a cinematic universe. Most of them out there, they just go see this movie, this movie, this movie. They pick out the popular character. DC sees, oh my gosh, everybody dressing up like Harley Quinn. They must like Harley Quinn. Of course they like Harley Quinn. We liked Harley Quinn in the 90s when she was introduced in the animated series. We liked Harley Quinn. Everybody likes Harley Quinn. But we weren't watching that show for Harley Quinn. We were watching for Batman, and we enjoyed the Joker, which is Mark Hamill. We enjoyed fucking Harley Quinn. We enjoyed them being in there. But we weren't watching it for them. And you know this. That's like going to order a pizza and you don't want the pizza. You just want the fucking pepperoni. Yes, pepperoni is good. Give me the whole entire pizza. And that's Batman and his rogue gallery. You know this. So there you go.
Get that man his pizza, hold anchovies.
Wow. I mean, that
was hardcore. That was hardcore.
Yeah, that was straight up hardcore.
Yep, that's gonna be the clip for the show, right?
You know what I'm talking about all the time. God darn it, man. That's the whole thing. Is these? I get why they do this. Like GQ has talked about many years. It's about the money. They look at the numbers. These people don't watch. People at Warner Brothers DC don't watch movies. Motherfuckers don't watch movies. They look at numbers and they see, oh, money, 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 money. Oh, licensed property, freaking Harley Quinn. Oh, ha, money. They're not fucking. They don't watch this shit.
No, you're right. You're right 100%. I mean, you're right.
Wow.
I just think I still like, we're making you a normie shirt, dude. That like all day, every day. Right? That's about to be your shirt for real. Be like, get away from me, normie. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that probably is pretty good, honestly.
Great.
That's about to be hashtag normies all over the internet.
Oh man, but I mean, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like just what we be saying. It's not exactly something we kind of asked for. I mean, Harley's kind of starting to be. I mean, she's basically DC's Deadpool at this point. You know, she's popular. The folks romanticize her and Joker's relationship for some odd reason. And but it's like she's a popular character. They're trying to push her as far as they can go with her, until it gets to a point where I guess folks may get to a point when they start getting sick of her, which at this point is probably next to never. So just push out more stuff that's Batman related. If it's not Batman, it's
more Batman. Good Lord, no more Batman.
Batman Bad Blood is on Netflix right now.
That movie was garbage. Sorry. That movie.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Bad Blood.
In all honesty, that movie started falling off. Because after I watched Bad Blood, I was like, oh my god, this Batman movie sucks. Like, this is really bad. Like, this isn't good. And freaking Batman Ninja came out. I was like, oh my god, they really fell off.
Nah, it started with Throne of Atlantis for me.
Yeah, because the Teen Titan movies wasn't that good either.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, they were better than it was better than Throne of Atlantis.
No, you know what? You're right. Because I get Throne of Atlantis and Flashpoint mixed up. Because I've always go back to that scene where like Wonder Woman choked Steve Trevor with the lasso of truth. I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. Like the Flashpoint movie was great. Like that movie was amazing.
Yeah, because they was savage in that movie. Like, yep. Like that was unexpected. Like it was kind of like to the point where it was like, wait a minute, it's like this is damn near rated R in this movie. What the hell?
I want to know why. I want to know why they fell off so hard in the animation, though, because that was their bread and butter. What the hell happened? Because that was their thing, man.
Right.
I don't know.
Like, all right, I think I got it working. I'm gonna try and watch it. Well, we're gonna show it to you guys now. Give you our thoughts about it after it's over. So here's the trailer if you haven't had a chance to watch. It's only like 50 seconds. Here you go.
What's up, New York? I can't wait for you guys to see my new show on DC Universe. You're gonna piss yourselves, I promise.
I think they're gonna hate it, Harls. They hate everything.
No way! It's got comedy, action, incredibly gratuitous violence, and unlike that Deadpool cartoon, it's actually coming out.
I thought we were supposed to make a show that was like super gritty and bleak and depressing. You know, like a DC thing.
That is an excellent way to make television and film. But everyone in my show is gonna have fun, or I will bash their f***ing heads in!
There's no fun in Arkham, Quinn.
Except him.
Yeah, guy's a real buzzkill. Oh, is that the logo? I like it.
They're gonna hate it.
Yeah, no. So that was not Kevin Conroy. That was actually D. Bradley Baker, who did the voice for Batman Brave and the Bold. I recognized the voice when I heard it, but you know, obviously this looks like it's going to be poking fun at itself.
Brave and the Bold is Diedrich Bader, dude.
Diedrich Bader. I'm sorry.
I said that she was DC's Deadpool.
Yeah, so I love how they poked fun at Deadpool. You like, unlike the Deadpool cartoon, we're actually coming out. That's actually pretty cool. I like that a lot. That was pretty cool.
Okay, except for the Deadpool movie made way more money than Suicide Squad. So
no, the Deadpool cartoon. What? They're talking about the Deadpool cartoon.
Dude, again, I don't care about cartoons. Cartoons are not bankable like movies, so it's all about the money. This is adult or teenage Teen Titans Go. That's all this is to me, and it's going to be garbage. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's going to be garbage.
It's going to be garbage.
Yeah,
wow. I don't know, man.
Like Dido said, we are in this for Batman. Batman is the man, is the character, is the cartoon that even brought Harley into this world. So without Batman, Harley is just like, okay, it's a one-trick pony. She's only going to be able to go for so long before the cartoon is like, dude, you all should have just did another Batman the Animated Series and try to bring that back, because that is what they deserve. That's what would sell me on that whole streaming service. If they did something along the caliber and quality of Batman the Animated Series. But they would never do that again because that was lightning in a bottle.
Well, I mean, Young Justice is coming out, so there's that. So
they will never do that again because that is lightning in a bottle. The animated series is still. I'm sorry, animated series. That's their greatest triumph, dude. That is honestly, without a doubt, their greatest triumph. Nobody.
Yeah. No question. No question. It is. Yeah. No question. No question. No, I think as a trailer, I think it's going to be pretty funny. It's not enough to make me buy the DC Universe streaming service, but I think I will check it out. You know, when I do get it, like maybe check it out for like a month or something like that. I think I will watch it because I think it'll be funny. Adult cartoon Harley, that could be pretty cool. I could get with that. So, any case, that's going to be the show. But before we break out, I do remember the one thing that I wanted to talk about before we started the show about an hour ago, and that was the premise that possibly the DC TV crossovers that are done on the CW, and Crisis on Earth X was actually really well done because it was like a full-fledged movie spread across 4 nights. Well, they said maybe the Comic Book Resources put out an article the other day saying that the next DC TV crossover should actually be in the theaters, and I think that's not a bad idea. What's you guys' thoughts on that?
That's a bold move.
But do you think it could work? Do you think it could work?
It might work. It might work, but I mean, I don't know. Like, the thing is, as far as like trying to do that between TV and movies, I mean, we kind of seen what happened with Inhumans, and that didn't work out very well. So, granted, Inhumans. I
mean, but Inhumans was just a terrible show.
Wait, you're trying to do what again?
They're supposedly doing like the CW crossover, like in theaters.
Are they going to increase the budget and actually make it watchable?
Look, last year's crossover was immensely watchable. It was good. Compared to some of the others that they've done, it was actually done really well. Like it was the first time we saw an actual real good Red Tornado. Like unlike that crap that they tried to pass off on us on that first season of Supergirl. This one was actually pretty good. This one was actually pretty good.
Completely CG, but
he was CG, which he should have been in the first place. I'm just saying, but still, no. I thought it was really well done. I think it could work as a limited, like maybe 1 or 2 week release. I think it could work. Like while
the big screen does not always necessarily translate. Sometimes you have to have a big budget team behind it and a big budget storytelling team behind it to make it work on the big screen.
Well, maybe that's part of the reason.
TV on the big screen. That's all it's going to be.
Okay, well, fine. Well, to your point, right? Maybe just for that production, it is with a big budget. Not necessarily saying that it has to, I don't know, be as expensive as some feature films, but I'm sure on those crossovers they spend a whole bunch of money, and they can put a little bit of that extra budget and make it really special, make it really unique. And I think it would be a pretty cool, crossover opportunity to where they would have something for the special when after the shows go on break for the Christmas holidays, and have something for you to watch until you come back, like in January or February. I think it would be pretty cool.
Sorry, unless it's written and partially directed by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini doing a translation of a Dwayne McDuffie storyline, ain't nothing the CW is going to show on the big screen. It's going to be worth going to see.
Well, that's one man's opinion, and I've gotten Fallen Marvels. But what about yours, Dido, and Super Nerd Plus before we bounce out?
As far as them doing that, you might get a few people watching it, but who's really going to go out to watch it? They can just go in the comfort of their own home to watch it.
I mean, look, how many people have been crying for Grant Gustin to be the Flash in the movie theaters? Now they kind of would get their chance.
I'm just saying. Whenever you do something half-ass, you get half-ass, what you call it. Now, the idea and the premise sounds kind of cool. I don't see them ever doing it just because, like, the normies out there ain't going to go to the theater.
Here it is again, the normies, dude. Wow. We got to get this guy. We got to get this guy. We got to get him a shirt. That'd be dope.
They're not going to go out there and watch this stuff. And I don't even think I'd go to the movies to go see the TV show Flash in the theater, because they're going to put a half-ass effort into it. So it's just, and half-ass meaning it's TV show budget in the theater. And I'm just like, no, come on.
All right. Well, I just think it's
wiggity whack, son.
All right. So next week, I don't know exactly what we're going to be talking about, but I think it brings us 1 week closer to Daredevil season 3. But it also brings us to the premiere of the Titans live action on DC Universe, and by then we'll have found a way to maybe watch one of the episodes. And
we'll find a way.
We'll find a way. Not going to reveal those ways, but we'll find a way. But we're going to give you our thoughts on that show as well. So until next,
Venom too. We'll see.
Yeah. So and we'll give you our Venom feedback as well next week. So make sure you're here next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Time for the next episode of Culture Junkies Live. I'm your host Kenshiro, and for Great Daitakuji, for Fallen Marvel, Super Nerd Plus, and GQ. We'll see you guys later. Have a good week. Rest of your week, everybody.
Peace out.
Good night,
everybody.
Mike Oliver, thank you for joining the show. We hope you come back next time, and do find us over there on Twitch, like you said, sir. Peace out.
True believers.